The girls of Qamart Ali have started back at school. The classrooms are shabby, the furniture is falling apart, there is no water to clean with, and there is no electricity to power the ventilators. But it's not because of the war, it is the 12 years of UN sanctions and Saddam Hussein's misrule that have set their mark on schools. But the war has changed life for the students. The large sections in Saddam Hussein, for example, that dominated every schoolbook are now redundant. And the students are afraid they are going to have to retake an entire school year. Exam papers were burnt during the looting that followed the war.
We need new exam papers and everything students normally use, like exercise books and school books and new school books, because we can't use the old ones anymore. There is no security. Girls are being kidnapped off the street. So now we only come here 3 days a week. Before, there were also some blackouts, but now it is much worse. It is difficult to concentrate when it's hot.
Qamart Ali is a city of around 80,000 inhabitants, just north of Basra. These days, the route across the river is by boat. A pontoon bridge used to stand here, until it was destroyed in the early days of the war. The residents of Qamart Ali say it was the British that bombed the bridge, but the British say it was the Iraqi army that blew it up as they were retreating. But one thing is certain, the bridge is now some distance downriver. It will be a long while before the people of Qamart Ali can drive directly into Basra by car. A number of students at the girls' school live on the other bank. Their school route has become long and dangerous.
Before the war, we could drive over the bridge, but since the British Army came, there has not been any connection. The most important thing to do is to ensure safety. This is the most important thing for students, and everyone should be able to receive an education.
The girls are convinced it is Saddam Hussein's former security people who are behind the attacks, kidnappings and rapes that blight the city. And their teachers agree with them as to what the biggest problem is since Saddam's fall.
The biggest problem for students and teachers is the lack of security. We are always terrified on the way to and from school. When I am outside, I am afraid and am constantly looking over my shoulder. The girls feel exactly the same way, and whilst we are in school, I am always afraid that the armed gangs will come and steal and loot, placing us all in danger.
لغرض النهب والسلب بما يعرض الطالبات والمدرسات لخطر. We didn't find important thing which the British people do for us. Nothing at all. If there is dangerous happen, I think if the dangerous threatening them, not for the people of the town, they will come and stop it.
British soldiers from the legendary Desert Rats have taken over the police station in Qamart Ali. They've christened it Fort Wilderness. The small police station is the northernmost outpost in British-controlled Basra, an area plagued by crime and bloody clan fighting.
Certainly this has got more problems than the rest of Basra, purely because of that fact. And that is why we're certainly targeting this area for our patrols, our security patrols, in an attempt to bring some reassurance to this population.
30 British troops and 80 Iraqi policemen are stationed at Fort Wilderness. The Iraqis consist mostly of former policemen from the Saddam era and former security guards. The British military police have been laying on short courses, but in the long term a new police training programme is planned.
The volunteers go for a registration to the main police station in Basra. They then get looked at and vetted to make sure that they have no sort of former history with the regime, because if they did, then they would lose the trust of the local people. So we're quite careful in who we employ.
The English have taught us to be patient in our investigations. It can take time to find a wanted person, but if you are patient, you will succeed.
It is working well, and what we're trying to do is make sure that the Iraqi people deal with Iraqi police, so they get a sense of Iraqi law and order returning to this area.
An elderly man has come to the police station to report the murder of his son. His face has been blurred to protect him from a revenge attack. His son was shot during one of the large clan wars that plague Karmat Ali. Between 7 and 10 people every week die in fighting here. The elderly man will lead the British to the accused murderer's home, but first the British must call for reinforcements. Much of Karmat Ali is still too dangerous for even the soldiers. Across town, tents like these have been erected for families to mourn after burials. This family lost their eldest son in 1983. He was tortured and executed because he was a member of the Iraqi Communist Party. The family was even forced to pay for the bullets used to shoot their son. The young communist was executed for treason, so the family were not allowed to mourn for him in 1983. Now Saddam has gone, they are free to grieve. Two of Amir Laftar's brothers were executed by Saddam's secret police. Another died during the First Gulf War, and a fourth fled to Iran in 1992. I have just found out that my brothers were executed. It has opened old wounds again. The old regime is over for us, but we hope to see with our own eyes that Saddam is dead and finished. That will make us even happier. Amma Laftar is married to schoolteacher Imam Jazim Ubaid. She also lost family to Saddam's thugs and is strongly affected by the tragedies in her husband's family.
When I manage and enter to this house, I find the sadness in this house. This sadness is still as a cost on our life. I didn't see happy in my life. Always crying, sadness. And when Saddam Hussein go, he left this clothes, black clothes, and sadness in our home.
Even with the wages from the bank and school, and only 2 children, everyday life is difficult for the family. Following years of neglect of the waterworks and water pipes, the tap water is so polluted that the water must be boiled and filtered before being used for cooking. Drinking water must be collected from outside the house. And since the introduction of UN sanctions against Iraq in 1991, the oil industry has been working at such a low tempo there was not even enough gas to cook with.
What can I do after 9 years of marriage? I couldn't do anything for my family, only to eat and to wear simple clothes. I have 2 children. I couldn't do for them anything. The low salary, that's not enough to bring up my children as I want, to buy for them anything they want.
Hundreds of thousands of Iraqi women were left widowed by Saddam's wars in Iran and Kuwait that wiped out an entire generation of Iraqi men. Imam's colleague Basema is one such widow. Now she helps support her brother's families. So when she was pressed into joining Saddam Hussein's Ba'ath Party, she accepted, partly because she received 3 times more pay as a party member.
I was the headmistress to start with. A party member contacted me at the school and pressed me into becoming a member. I did not like the regime or the party, but I have a big family and my brothers had no work, so I was forced to go along with it. I had the choice of being sacked or joining the party. As a party member, I rose in the ranks to become a section leader. At that time, I wanted to be a division leader because my brother was wanted. As a division leader, I could cover up for my brother.
فعلا كنت محتاجة أصعد عضوة فرقة لأن أخوي كان طارد الأمن من أصير أنا عضوة فرقة أغطي على شغلة أخوي.
He ran away and left for his wife and 2 or 3 sons. So in order to save her family, she become one of them. But she is a very good one, very good girl.
Did people treat you differently now the party and government are gone?
No, because I never did anyone any harm, not the students, teachers, neighbours, nor relatives. Actually, as a party member, I was able to help more people.
When Saddam Hussein's regime collapsed, the Iraqi people were quick to exploit the vacuum. Not only with crime and clan war, but also by developing a highly visible black market. At the market in Khamat Ali, many stall owners are state employees who lost their jobs with the regime's collapse. Many of the goods are stolen from relief warehouses and hospitals. At the local health clinic, there is precious little medicine. The clinic was plundered when the British moved in. Even the ambulances were stolen. There are 8 doctors at the health clinic. Together with 9 other small local clinics, they serve the 80,000 residents of Khamat Ali. After 12 years of UN sanctions, the clinic is in an advanced state of disrepair. The head doctor dares not ask the foreign organisations for new equipment, out of fear that they too will be stolen.
Many persons here come with gun, with pumping, with they interrupt our job.
Whilst the doctor's abilities to work are ever more restricted, the queue of patients grows. Among other things, the end of the war has seen an explosion in cases of cholera.
Because of poor water supply, lack sanitation, lack of good sterilization, food supplement. This is during war. This is all effect on the diseases.
At the town hall, Khamat Ali's new legislative council is meeting for the first time. They're attempting to fill the political vacuum left after the bleeding members of Saddam Hussein's Ba'ath Party fled the advancing British army. The temporary council, led by Khadim Abdali, has been elected by opposition and religious leaders, teachers and tribal representatives. Abdali was one of the leaders of the Shiite uprising against Saddam Hussein in the wake of the Gulf War in 1991, fleeing to Iran after Saddam defeated the uprising. Shortly before Saddam's fall, he returned to Iraq and hid in the marshes outside Khamat Ali. Now he's temporary mayor. The council is pressing for the British to solve everyday problems. We have approached the British and told them that the people's rations are already or about to be used up. There are both religious leaders and communists in the council. Both groups are outlawed under Saddam Hussein, but all share the concerns they have for Iraq's future. We have not seen any initiatives which would help the local people. Their situation is terrible. There is no work, everything is stopped. People are ashamed that they are sitting at home without being able to support their families. If the people lose all hope and nothing is done for us, we will choose other methods. The Americans and the British must leave Iraq as they have promised. If they do not do this within 2 years, then we will hold them responsible. But to come with threats and promises now will not help our cause. One of the local schools has asked the council for help. An unexploded grenade has buried itself in the playground during the war, just a few metres from the classrooms. The teachers have tried a number of times to get the British to remove the ticking bomb from under the school children. If it explodes, it will be a new tragedy. This is, after all, about children who can be difficult to control. If it explodes, there could be many casualties. One grenade landed over on the other side of the road, killing 10 people from the same family. The other landed here. Luckily, it did not explode. There was still the danger it might. Iraq's new politicians will also be met by claims for compensation for torture and persecution carried out during Saddam Hussein's dictatorship. One of those filing a claim will be Ali Abbas Sachit, who refused to join the Ba'ath Party whilst he was a soldier and subsequently deserted. Together with 750 other deserters, he was tortured and had an ear cut off. After they had cut my ear off, they sent me to a prison run by Basra's police. Here I underwent indescribable torture and mistreatment. Many of the others died of thirst or hunger, or of the torture and humiliation. We went against Saddam Hussein and all of his apparatus of state and refused to acknowledge him and his ideas. Hopefully people will see this as a mark of honour. The most pleasant way to travel from Kamat Ali is to sail up the river. There, where the city ends, the enormous marshlands begin, stretching northwards between the Euphrates and Tigris rivers. But even in the countryside, people are afraid of the crime that ravages the area. There is no security. We dare not sail too far up the river. You risk being attacked and killed. Security does not exist today. Abu Abdelamir is the head of a family of 15, consisting of his wife, sons, daughters-in-law, and grandchildren. For numerous generations, the family has lived off fishing and farming in the fertile marshlands. But, in an attempt to stifle the marshlands' rebellious streak, Saddam Hussein drained large areas of marsh, ridding the marsh Arabs of their hiding places in the wild, branching river system. Fishing is in recession, and Abu Abdelamir's sons are unsure they have any future. I am forced to take all sorts of other work, like a day worker or construction worker. I have no choice. When I was young, everything was better. Farming was better, fishing was better. Life was altogether better. The family dream about re-establishing the marshlands. And perhaps a part of the marshes can be saved if Saddam Hussein's dams are removed so the rivers can once again flow through the low-lying marshlands. In Kamat Ali, the British reinforcements have arrived. The soldiers and Iraqi police can move out to arrest the accused murderer. The father of the murdered man puts a mask on, so no one can recognise him, and the camera is refused permission to go with him into the house. A few minutes later, the British come back with 4 men in custody, all from a rival clan to that of the murdered man.
Shut up now!
The British show of force as a clear signal to the Iraqis. They won't tolerate inter-clan violence.
We're trying to get that message across to them, that unless they prove to the international community that they can at least try and get some stability in this area, then the NGOs are not going to come in because it's not safe. And that's our key message to the people of this area.
For example, the man is my uncle.
At the girls' school, the teachers and students work hard on their English vocabulary. Iraq once had one of the best education systems in the Arab world. There will be a great need for the girls' knowledge in the rebuilding process. The fall of Saddam has given them new hope for the future.
They think they have a very good chance after Saddam Hussein destroyed. They feel they will have a good chance, a happy future.
Now we are free. We can say what we want. We can refuse anything, and we can accept anything. I wish to all Iraqi people to be a rich people, because our country is a rich country. But Saddam Hussein will take the money of the population, and they buy a weapon with this money.
But the future might not be as free as Rosanna imagines. Karmat Ali lies in the Shiite part of Iraq. Islam has gained a real foothold here after the poverty following numerous wars and 12 years of UN sanctions. The mosque has become too small, so Friday prayers are now held in a parking lot, where almost all of the members of the new council are present. The only political party that has set itself up in Karmat Ali is the formerly banned Supreme Council for the Islamic Revolution in Iraq. The Iranian-inspired Islamists have moved into the Ba'ath Party's old headquarters, and pictures of the Revolutionary Council's leader, Ayatollah Mohammad Bakr al-Hakim, are hanging in the many places where Saddam's portrait used to hang. But Karmat Ali's temporary mayor is not a member of the Supreme Council, and he is critical of al-Hakim's close contacts to Iran. The Islamic Republic of Iran influences them. If al-Hakim's Revolutionary Council try to copy the Iranian model, they will meet great difficulty. But Ayatollah al-Hakim can expect support from others in Karmat Ali.
We want Islamic government because Islam had justice. We like al-Hakim. He was one of the people who suffering from the bad treatment of Saddam Hussein. And he lose most of his family.
I will not support a government led by al-Hakim. He is a religious leader, and in Iraq we have many denominations. We have many Muslims, Sabians and Christians, and there are both Sunnis and Shiites. I don't think al-Hakim will be able to ensure all Iraqis equal rights.
In Karmat Ali, the electricity plant has sent workers out to repair the network, and the population are beginning to repair the water pipes themselves. But before they can truly take on their new lives, there is one question they want answered. What happened to Saddam Hussein?
He called and we see him in our eyes. He was called that thing which make us save our life and become happy. We want the blood of Saddam Hussein.